Hey guys, Sarah from Sweet Scents from the Dollhouse. If you're new to my channel, welcome, welcome. Be sure to subscribe and smash that notification bell for future content notification. Depending on if my rural internet connection loves me, I try and post home fragrance videos 3 to 5 times a week, and then I throw in some random stuff in between as well. So we would love it if you could hang out with us here at the Dollhouse. For my returning waxies, as always, thanks for hanging out. I filmed this video before my old laptop crashed, and I haven't been able to retrieve a lot of the larger files off that device yet. It's on my list of things to do, so I might at one point upload what looks to be like a double of this video, but I've had several of my subscribers ask how I remove wax from Bath & Body Works candles in order to make wax melts out of it, and I didn't want to leave those people hanging for any longer. So we can have more than one of those videos eventually, and this one will be a little bit different because there will be a mini candle haul at the end. So what you can see here are some of the assorted sizes of bags that I've used, just whatever I have, as long as they're polypropylene, of course. That way my wax will keep its scent. I usually like to recycle the existing labels when I can. So I'll just peel them off. Sometimes, because I use the freezer method, it loosens the glue on the label. So I have some packing tape, any kind of tape. I like that just because it's one and done, kind of stick on. I also use these labels to create scent notes, which I will stick on the back, just in case I'm curious. Also here in Canada, we don't get scent notes on the bottom of the candles, so that's handy dandy to have in case you forget. I find a lot of the Bath & Body Works titles are pretty self-explanatory, like Caramel Pumpkin Swirl. And then I use these round labels for dates. My returning wax, these are all pretty familiar with that, if you've seen any of my other vendor wax hauls, so on and so forth. So first things first, I do use the freezer method. I just wanted to show you, the longer you leave your candles in the freezer, the cleaner they pop out. So this one, for example, came out in one solid piece. The little glue dots, the wicks and all, no problem. I find you can, like my freezer, I can get them out sometimes within 24 hours, but sometimes your wicks will stay exactly where they are. If you are new to making wax melts out of candles, I cannot stress this enough. Whether you use a candle crock, an electric hot plate warmer, or the freezer method, if you screw around with the temperature of these in any way, shape, or form, you've compromised the glue on the bottom. What will then happen is these wicks will migrate, and I know this, I promise you, I've made candles for 13 years, it's not worth the risk. If these wicks migrate while you're not paying attention, say you light it, you have company over, one of these wicks migrates close to the glass and continues to burn at hot, hot, hot temperatures right up against this glass, it is recipe for disaster. Like, in the very best case scenario, it will just destroy your stuff with wax. You could get burnt, pets, little people, or even worse, your whole house could burn down. When you make a candle, you place those bad boys in there strategically, and you do everything in your power to make sure those wicks stay where they are. Those glue dots are a very integral part of keeping candles safe. So the second you screw around with that by altering the temperature, whether or not it's freezing or administering super high heat temperatures, you have to commit to having wax melts. So you can't freeze it and then change your mind. Or put it in your candle crock, let it liquefy, and then, 2 hours later say, oh, no, I changed my mind. I'm going to burn it now. Commit. Also, I use all of these jars. I like to recycle everything. Some of the prettier ones with the nice labels, I'll use, I don't know, the girls have used them for makeup sponges, Q-tips, so on and so forth on their vanities. I have turned things like, let's see this patterned one? Like that's really pretty. You could put acorns or little pumpkins in there, turn it into like a candlescape, or I don't know, whatever. You can reuse these jars, or the plain ones, I like to use them as a dump dish for my electric wax melters. Any of the unused, or any of the used wax that no longer has scents, I just dump it in here, and I have several DIYs coming up. Show you what I do with the used wax afterwards. Sure. Next thing. I'm going to try and take this one out. This one has been sitting at room temperature for quite some time. So this one was frozen for 2 days. It's got some cracks in it already. That happens. If you've never done the freezer method before, essentially the wax shrinks away from the sides of the glass, which helps loosen it out. But at the same time, extreme cold temperatures will make wax crack. So usually holding it upside down with the flat palm of my hand, gently but firm. I give the bottom a couple good taps, and that's a lucky one. One solid piece. I will admit, sometimes when I'm super impatient and it doesn't come out, instead of putting it back in the freezer and exercising patience, I'll jam a knife in there and get aggressive. Usually what happens is you end up with a lot of broken glass. Thankfully, no stitches, but let's just not do it that way. Don't be impatient. It's seriously not worth it. Toss it back in the freezer for a little bit longer. It will eventually come out. Some of these I've only had to leave in the freezer for 2 hours and they'll come out. Other times they give me a bit harder time. Where did my paring knife go? I filmed this video earlier and didn't realize that my MacBook died. So this is take 2. Oh, here's my paring knife. So I had to wash everything. So what I start with, obviously, is a cutting board that I have designated to wax. I put the tablecloth, or not tablecloth, a tea towel under here, not just for the sake of doing videos. It's really super clingy and it's nighttime. Just for anybody else in your home who might be sleeping or watching TV, it muffles the sound a little bit. I have a little paring knife, pair of scissors, my labels, tape. I have a pair of needle nose pliers, and then I have 3 different tools that I use for cutting. But before we get into the cutting part, I likely won't need that. I want to take the wicks out. I don't know if everybody is super anal about this, but I don't like having any of that glue in my wax. So I try and take the wicks off, and then I will shave out any of that sticky, icky glue. Just because we don't know what's in that. You don't want to add heat to that and breathe in glue. Also, I would hate to try and clean that out of the bottom of a wax, an electric wax hot plate warmer or whatever. So those ones came out pretty effortlessly, and I used the paring knife just to run a circle around because sometimes a little bit of that glue will get caught in the edges. So there we go. There's your wicks. I had this one done in advance just for the sake of saving time, but it has also come out of the freezer. It's still not cold, but not quite room temperature. This one's been sitting at room temperature for longer, so we'll start with this one. There's tons of different ways that you can cut this bad boy. So where I first started, way back in the day when I first started to turn my Bath & Body Works candles into wax melts, stopped burning them in my house, Was just a kitchen paring knife. Whoop. And see, because this one is cracked, I didn't even make it a quarter of the way through and it's already starting to crumble. So there's that method. Obviously, it's going to get bitty and messy. I'm not such a super huge fan of that. I do have various different molds. These ones are just molds from the dollar store. You've probably all seen them. They're silicone ice cube trays. Super affordable, convenient. Everybody could access them. But they are the ice cube trays that you use for water bottles, right? I just heated up the... What is that noise? My daughter is making like sounds of an elephant up there. Her and her friends are on that house party or whatever, giggling schoolgirls. But anyways, so I heat the wax up on candlewarmers.com warmer. Once it liquefies, I pour it into the dollar store silicone water bottle ice cube trays. Wait till it dries, pop them out, and that is Bath & Body Works Marshmallow Musk. This is great, convenient size. You could just snap these in half and toss them in your hot plate warmers. It makes excellent for instance, there's, who is it? Sassy Girl Aroma does something very similar, and she calls them blending sticks. So you can get Sassy Girl Aroma wax in various different flavors, snap them, and make a million different combinations on your own. So I thought that would be a great scent to do that with. I've also used different like flower and star shaped molds. I have 2 caramel pumpkin swirl candles melted down in these wax shapes. The only problem is this way is incredibly time consuming. Also, I find with the candle warmers, hot plate warmers, I hate saying that. The candle warmers, the company is called Candle Warmers. It takes forever for a 3-wick Bath & Body Works candle to melt. I had a subscriber recently ask me if I knew anything about the Ashland ones from Michaels, I believe, sells them. I don't. Comment down below. Do you find the Ashland hot plate warmers work better for melting candles than the candle warmers ones do? Because say for instance, I put this candle on my hot plate, and it takes anywhere from 3.5 to 4.5 hours to completely liquefy. That's me melting the wax and burning 3.5 to 4.5 hours of fragrance oil out of it. So by the time it gets to these molds, it's not going to be as fragrant as directly like out of the candle and not subjected to any sort of heat, if you know what I mean. Plus it's super time consuming. It's a heck of a lot messy, or a heck of a lot less mess, but you will be definitely burning out some of that fragrance oil before you even have it in the molds and start using it. So we've done the paring knife method. I have a straight cutter. You can get these soap cutters. This one in particular I found at the Dollarama here in Canada. It's a Martha Stewart one. I don't know what kind of food you're supposed to cut this with. I think it was called like a baker's blade or something like that. I don't know. Looks like a straight soap cutter to me, and I think it was about $3 or $4 Canadian. So easy peasy. Once this is at room temperature, it's easiest to cut. I find if you cut them when they're cold directly out of the freezer, you're going to get a heck of a lot more mess. But see, even this is so soft. It's room temperature. And with these things, it's still crumbly. Very messy. That piece was a little bit better. This way you can also cut them in various sizes. It's nice to have big pieces or small pieces in case you want to start mixing your fragrances. I love Bath & Body Works White Pumpkin. It was a pleasant surprise to me. I knew I liked the scent on cold, but I really didn't anticipating liking it this much. I grabbed one, had to go back and grab a second one in last week's candle haul. Contemplated getting another one when I was there today, but I didn't. Okay, so we've seen the straight weave or the straight cutter, and it's still making a nasty, disastrous mess. Let's try the wavy cutter. This one is a soap cutter. You can get these at Michael's. I believe in Canada they're $12 at Michael's. Don't quote me on that. Surely they're cheaper in the States. This isn't quite as crumbly. Doing a little bit better with the wavy cutter. Oh yeah, much better. Whoops. Not as messy. There's really nothing that I have found that stops it from cracking like that. And as always, I love to hear you guys' feedback. I want to hear your tips and tricks. If you have found a way that is less messy or less time consuming, I learned most of my shit from you guys, so let me know down below. So I like this. It's working a heck of a lot better than the straight one. But yes, as I was saying, I haven't found anything that prevents it from cracking like that. Just so happens with the freezer method, it happens. So I have a bag of white pumpkin here already started. Obviously this bag is not going to be big enough for another candle. It's pretty much full already. Just put a couple pieces in there. We'll have to start a new bag. But yeah, I just peel these labels off. It will take me forever with these great big nails. So I'm not going to do that on the channel now, but I'll just peel these off and stick them to the bag. If I need to, I always have the tape there to put them down. But for the sake of saving time, let's just dump it into here until later. Oh, it smells so good. I've been mixing this one with I always want to say DW, but it's not. It's Hobby Lobby's DD wax melts in Fireside. I don't do the original Yankee Candle. I don't know. I've had zero luck with scent throw with Yankee candles in the form of a candle, and I've had very limited, a little bit better, but limited luck with chunking that wax down. So I don't even risk it. I'll just buy Indie Wax in Fireside, or now that I found the DD version of Fireside, it's perfect. But white pumpkin mixed with any of the Yankee dupe, Fireside Yankee dupes, is to die for. The white pumpkin scent notes say white pumpkin, autumn spice, and ground cinnamon. It's beautiful. The other method that my girlfriend Amber has taught me to cut wax, and I am by no means an expert at this. I think I need to practice. I for sure think it's the cleanest method that I've found, but watch, because I am no pro. So right now I'm using Craft Melody 8-pound just transparent jewelry kind of thread, whatever. I found this at the dollar store. I've also used, I go out to the garage and cut it off my fishing pole. Works just as good. So kind of like dental floss. I know this will be impossible for you to see, and this piece might be too short. But I just wrap it around my fingers and pull it through the wax. What I really need to get, what is the name of that tool? There's any sculptors out there, you know what I'm talking about. You know the line with the two dowels of wood at the end? Oh, why am I having a brain fart? That would be perfect for cutting wax. I'm going to grab one next time I'm at the craft store, because That's my problem. Doing it this way, it's almost virtually no mess, but because the wax gets so greasy, the wire just keeps slipping through my hand, much like when you're sculpting. Your hands from plasticine or clay always get that remnants of your medium. So the wooden dowels is what you hang on to, and then it just doesn't slip right through. Oh man, in my first take of the video with the dead MacBook, I was doing better than this. Hang tight. Amber's probably watching this right now, killing herself off. You know, what do I need to do? What do, like, you gotta put like the gymnast chalk on my hands and try and do this. It's just too slippery. Amber, come on, comment down below. Save me, woman. What do you do when your hands are all greasy and gross? I wish the battery wasn't dead last time. I did it like a pro. But see, it's a nice clean line. There's very minimal fallout. Maybe I need a longer piece and then it wouldn't be so crappy. So I have my scissors nearby. I'm gonna try this. I am hell-bent determined to do this. Let's hack off a bit of a longer piece so I can wrap more around. Did I just cut off the same size piece? What the hell? Yeah, there you go. See? So I think with practice, you could be really good at that. Or, like I said, go to Michael's and get the sculpting tool. It's basically like wire with two little wooden dowels on it, and then that's what you hang on to. The wooden dowels. It doesn't slip through your fingers like fishing line does. Like the concept, just not the tool. So, stay tuned. I will perfect that. Where are we putting this again? Oh, this is white pumpkin. We need a bag. Let's clean up this mess. We need a bigger bag. And let's move on to the candles I purchased. I do have this one. I don't want to get white pumpkin all over it because that one is boardwalk. So I'm going to fill up the rest of these bags. These are my favorite for my favorite scents. Earlier in the video, look it. This is what I cut up with the wire last time. All these perfect like pie shapes. See, I had it down pat. I was a pro. Take two, I just butchered that shit. So I cut up 2 waffle cone in that video using this string. I don't know. Perhaps it's because I'm late. It's late and I'm getting tired and my hands feel like they're going to bleed. But anyhow, so I have that boardwalk candle to fill this bag. These are my favorite. This is a smaller size and it fits 1 candle perfectly. This is the vanilla patchouli one. This is really nice. So let's clean up this mess and show you what candles I grabbed. Oh, also these little wire snips are great. Sometimes what happens is the wick will be stuck inside the wax and you'll just get the metal part off or vice versa. So I use these to pull the wick out, just like that. Let's move and wash all this stuff up. Hang tight. So I filmed that haul, when was it? I'm filming this and it hasn't even uploaded. Oh, I can't remember. I should just say last week's Bath & Body Work candle haul. I'm going to upload it today. But whatever. I had mentioned something about how Canada didn't have the Cider Lane collection out yet. that very evening I go online and I notice that it is in the American .com website. And sure enough, this week when I returned to Bath & Body Works here in Canada, Cider Lane was back. So, you know, I had to grab one of those. And it wasn't Candle Day, so I was actually really good. I just grabbed one because I think I still have 1.5 left from last season. I grabbed one pumpkin cupcake. Comment down below. This smells really, really light on cold. But I have watched some awesome reviews or read awesome reviews, talked to a couple subscribers who have had great luck with this so far. It just smells so dang light. Like hardly anything. Comment down below whether or not you melted it or burnt it as well. I'm very curious to know if it's throwing for people. I had to grab a second pumpkin apple. That one is delicious, but unfortunately, Gracie stole the entire candle from me. She's not allowed to burn it up in her room, but she's got it set up. She likes the little graphic or the font on the front for her fall decorations in her bedroom. So, yeah, I went out and got myself a new one. And then because I love, love, love this scent so much, I grabbed another 3 waffle cone candles. Because I don't want it to disappear. It'd be just my luck that they wouldn't bring it out next summer, and I don't want to ever be without that scent. Lately, I don't even, like, this is really nice on its own. I've never burnt one as a candle, just because I only burn candles in the front, what is that called? It's like a sun porch on the front of our house, but it's fully enclosed. Way too hot to sit out there. So the only time I really burn candles out there in the summertime is when we're anticipating company, because I like the front entrance of the house to smell delicious. So I'm not going to waste one of my beloved waffle cone candles out there for that. But I have chunked them up. I think I've gone through about 2.5 of them already. And I am melting them, mixing them with just about everything. I specifically have been loving them with Rose Girls mini melters. I've mixed it with blackberry, raspberry sauce, sweet lavender, raspberry cream, raspberry coconut, jelly donut. What else? Oh, I'm telling you, the opportunities are absolutely endless. I think waffle cone is my jam. Probably one of my favorite candles for the summer, for sure. Absolutely. But I'm also super, super pumped to have my classics back, like marshmallow firesides, cider lane, pumpkin pecan waffles. Can't get enough of all those. As always, comment down below. Let me know, how do you get your wax out of your Bath & Body Works jars? If you have any tips, I would love to hear them. And if you have any questions, I will do my best to answer down below. But as always, I'm by no means an expert. I'm just learning as I go and sharing the info with you. Thanks so much for watching. See you in my next video.